Welcome to Your Soul Wisdom, hosted by Yana Amor Manocas. In each episode, we invite you on a transformative journey delving into the profound mysteries and wisdom of the soul. Join us as we explore a wide array of spiritual topics and sacred practices that nurture and heal the soul, from reincarnation and soul contracts to the enigmatic experiences of womb alchemy and astral travel. Our discussions are designed to enlighten, inspire, and deepen your understanding of your own soul's journey. With Your Soul Wisdom, nothing is off limits. Hello, everybody. Welcome to your favorite podcast, Your Soul Wisdom, with the beautiful 5 ladies here. How's everybody doing today?
Super good.
Good.
So excited to answer a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love these. I'm excited.
Before we get into them, I want to remind everybody to like, share, subscribe, and comment on our content. It is the best way to support us. We greatly appreciate it. And if you've been thinking about joining the collective or you want to find out more about the membership, there is a 30-day free trial period. Just head on over to yoursoulwisdomshow.com. Any other goodies we want to share? Oh, we do have a special announcement coming up next month that we maybe or so coming up soon that we will share with everybody. Kylie's looking at me as if she's like, I can't figure out. Kylie, are you thinking like, what is she talking about?
I did for a minute, then I was like, oh, that's right. It involves me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be right. It involves all of us. That's why she's talking about it here.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I just got it. Thank you.
Wow.
And
Do you not notice how my face didn't change? So I was like, yeah, I know what this is, but I don't.
Yeah.
I know.
I was with you, Yana. Anyway.
Thank you. And so stick around and come
Be
figure
surprised
out
like the
what
rest of
it's
us
going
are.
to be. Exactly. Okay. Just to dive us into this, for anybody listening, if you have any questions that you're like, whether it's spiritual, life, relationships, culture, whatever it is, where you're like, I would love some opinions and thoughts from 5 women who are not doctors, they don't prescribe, this is all entertainment, all of that, then
And we
submit
don't
them
agree with each
over.
other.
Right. I love that.
Mentally
We don't
stable
agree
with
with
each other.
Yes, definitely. Go ahead and submit our questions below in the comments. Put them in there. We'll wrap them into our next Q&A. And for now, ladies, let's dive into our first question of the day. Is it possible to be self-aware and still keep repeating the same patterns?
Hell yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hell yes.
What does that mean, though? Because that is actually a really good question. Because even for myself, when I feel that emotional wave coming in, I'm like, I know this lesson. I've been here before. I know the smell, the look of it. I know the result. I know everything, but I still have to go through it. So what is that?
I don't know.
Well, you
Honestly,
have
for
the
me,
awareness.
it's obviously hope over experience as well, for me, is what also happens.
Hope?
Over experience, like sometimes when I can see how something, like if I'm in a pattern of something like that, there is some insane part of me that is still hoping for a different outcome this time.
Got it.
That kind of thing. Like, that at the basis, that's what's going on.
Okay, Lauren.
Yeah.
Well, it's tricky because, okay, so you wouldn't be noticing if you weren't aware. And then sometimes we can have things happen where we don't know how to change them. They're happening, but we don't know how to change them. And maybe there's subconscious programs, belief systems, whatever they are running. So, awareness and consciousness is the first step, towards getting to the bottom of anything. But sometimes we're in the messy middle where we know something's going on, but we haven't quite reached
Absolutely.
the alchemy of resolving it.
Yeah.
The irony is
Absolutely.
that when you've resolved it, it's actually very difficult to notice that it's gone. Do you know what I mean? Like we get these treatments, Lauren.
You almost get surprised. It's like, oh my goodness,
with
it's gone.
Bill. And afterwards, you can't even remember really the treatment. And what you went in there with very specific symptoms, but you actually have to notice that you're no longer doing that, and that's really tricky. So maybe you only notice what you haven't finished.
Ooh,
Interesting.
Okay, so how do you
Right.
get to that finish line?
Oh,
Asking for a
Christ.
friend. Asking for a friend. How do you get to that finish line?
I don't know. It's like you can never anticipate your readiness for change,
Mhm.
or when an outcome is going. I just don't think it works like that. And again, it would
Never
be something that
finished.
you would notice in retrospect. It's not like something you would be running through, a ribbon at the end of a race kind of thing, and it's happened.
No,
At
you
some
need a
stage
little
you'd
bit of
realize,
time to know
yeah,
that it's
and you'd
changed.
realize that you weren't even running, that the race was
Yeah.
over, that you weren't running, that you'd had a good night's sleep and a holiday, and then you notice it, that kind of thing.
But how
But
do you shift it is a whole different thing, because it's so nuanced, complex, and multifaceted depending on who you are, what's going on, what levels. Is it physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, what body, etheric, astral, mental, what, like, I mean, come on. So pick your modality, practitioner, support person, whatever it is. There may be several. It may have nothing to do with someone else helping you. You may need to write, you might need to sing, you might need to go on a rant, I don't know. But there isn't really one answer, right? But as long as something is presenting in your reality, that's something to work with. Where you go from there depends on you as a person.
It's all
Kylie, I
growth,
heard you
isn't it?
grumble.
It's all growth.
Sorry.
It's all expansion. It's all part of you. And that part that sometimes those repeating patterns, they are just you. And sometimes they will serve you and sometimes they won't. You know? It's what is the repeating patterns. If it's right now, it may be a disservice, and at another point in time, it may be the best thing that you have. Sometimes those things about just being stubborn, you're really, really stubborn. But that stubbornness sometimes may serve you at another point. Do you know what I mean? So it's always going to be there. It's never finished. That's what I think. It's never finished. We're always growing, and it doesn't have to be a bad thing, because when we aren't, I guess if you're finished, you're dead. Really?
That's very comforting.
Yana is not open to this concept at all, by the way. She wants everything done and finished this year, and then she's going to do her version of what enjoying life is after that. Which I'm
Amen.
not
Listen, I've
really
already
quite sure what
concluded that this second half of my life is all really, really, really good. That's it. Period. And nothing else. All
Oh, it
really,
is.
really good. So
What have you done with the sort of getting sick and dying bit of that scenario, just out of interest?
sick and dying.
Well,
Oh,
obviously
you did
that's
not
part of the.
go there.
Listen, I
Sorry.
don't have fear of dying. I don't
No.
have fear of dying. Obviously, I have emotions of like sadness. Oh, my daughter, and how she's going to feel and all, that kind of stuff. I don't fear it at all. But I really hope I just don't wake up one day. Like I go to sleep and I just don't wake up. I don't want it to be in a horrific manner. And it will not be in a horrific manner. It'll be very gentle, no illness. Mom just didn't wake up again. That's it.
That's the dream.
Okay,
That's it.
maybe
That's the
so.
dream. Living the
The last
dream.
conversation I had with her, she told me how much she loved me, and then she just didn't wake up again. That is ultimate goals.
It's definitely possible.
Yes.
Kylie, I'm
Okay.
wondering if you've got anything on this
Tell
question.
you what.
No, look,
Just
you
before
summed
you
that
answer
up
that, Kylie.
really nice. You
Kylie,
summed that-
can I
look,
just say
look, I am not perfect. I know it's really hard to fathom that statement, but I usually will only be recognizing a pattern until I get to like the 7th round of it. And then I go, oh shit, stop doing that now. And that's pretty much my whole thought process.
And then you're able to stop?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, what? Because there's never a wrong decision, right? So I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm going to actively make a decision to not do this anymore. Let's go. And that's it. Profound.
If I made an active decision to not drink Coke ever again.
Yeah, then you're fucking wired. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it.
Yeah, in about an hour, the second it touched my lips, the world
Again, I bet you again, as Vagrant, one day you guys will freaking listen to that session. As Vagrant said, I bet you anything that the reason why you stopped drinking Coke in that scenario had the word should in it.
Oh, excuse me.
No, I want to. Coke, but I really don't want to stop drinking Coke.
And look, I would not be talking to me about that because
which sounds like you're just not using should because you're just swapping, but like, which it boils down to I should be stopping Coke, but I don't want to.
Okay,
Yeah,
but what did you say,
hurting
Kylie?
anyone. It's not. I would just be. I'd call you and say stop being a quitter, and just like enjoy your life. It's not hurting anyone.
Well,
yeah,
I guess
I'm not encouraging you to quit Coke either. But
Yeah,
Why
if
don't
we
you
all
just
need
do
to buy
affirmations
Coke,
over your Coke? Why don't you just do affirmations over your Coke, or put your Coke in a container that says, you know
Excuse
what?
me, that slows down the whole enjoying process.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna sit there
What
and
do you mean?
spend
you
5
can
minutes
just
going,
infinite
I enjoy. No, I
do
wanna
while
drink
you're
it.
opening it.
No, but as I drink, no, but you just say, as I drink this drink,
Just
it's not
bless it.
incinerating my stomach.
Listen, the
Don't say
joy-
that. Don't say that.
You do know
Say
like Coke
something
does
positive.
the metal
Don't
and stuff,
ruin my
right?
favorite thing, Amanda. Because
All right.
payback is a bitch. Okay.
Listen, there
But-
are worse things to be addicted to.
I like
Coke,
it though. I do.
cocaine.
Just drink it and be like, this Coke is blessing my body. Okay. And moving
fine.
right
My
along.
lips, the
May
bubbles
the
all the way
joy I
down.
Yes, may the joy I have from drinking it translate
Yes.
into the joy for my life. Okay, we're
Yeah.
completely digress.
Amen.
Okay, let's
There you
Done.
go.
Okay, next. Sorry,
Does that
viewers,
answer the
for
question?
Not sure, but
Okay, here's our next question. Can you outgrow a life you once prayed for? And what do you do when that happens?
Hell yes again.
Absolutely.
Yes. And
It
it's
is a blessing in
it's
disguise.
really hard.
Okay, so anybody have any examples they want to give?
Look, all I would also say that I do think it is important for the balance that when you are creating your future life, you are also consciously grateful that everything you have is everything that you wanted as well. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And think of it as like you're just getting off at another station. You're still on the same track. You're still the same train. You're just getting off in a different location and building a life there is
Different
is how it feels to me. But there's nothing wrong with it.
It can feel tricky though, right? When you've sort of put all your hopes and dreams and whatever into, whatever it is. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's a relationship. And then
business.
you come to the point where you realize, like, sometimes it takes people a minute to get to the point where they realize, oh, actually, I just think I still want this, or this is what I used to want, but I don't actually really want it. It's pretty crunchy in that space. It doesn't feel very comfortable.
Well, right. And here's the thing. A lot of the way that this question actually physically shows up in my life is I see couple after couple who, and I was one of those, right? Where like I had always prayed to be married and have a child, like, oh, to be a mother was my greatest and still is my greatest anything I could ever achieve. But it wasn't, for me, it didn't pan out or wasn't what I expected it to be. And then I knew it was done. But I know couple after couple today who've been married for years and have multiple children, and they feel the same way, but they can't get out of it. They can't shift. They're like, I feel like I'm stuck, and that's just what it is. And so that is such a huge thing. But how do you make that shift? How do you allow yourself to get out of it?
It depends how uncomfortable they are. Rachel,
Yeah.
you talk about how, change and uncomfortability.
Yeah, there's 3 types of change. This is one of the things my business mentor taught me. So there's very slow incremental change that you can barely notice over decades. There is the change of when the perception of pain is actually less than the pain of staying in the situation. In other words, the situation's become so shitty that changing is actually less painful. But the most desirable type of change is when there is a vision in the future that compels you to pull through the pain of change. So, if you're conscious enough to notice that you're in an uncomfortable situation, then your choices are, am I just going to sit here until it's literally got so bad that I cannot tolerate it for one more second? Or am I going to start creating a vision of the future that, is going to compel me to change? Like all of, it's all feedback for what you're aligned with and where you're going, that kind of thing. So, when relationships break down, Like, honestly, I don't think that people have no choice. I just think they have choices that they don't like. And generally, those choices include being less financially, everybody's less financial off. And also, like, to be honest, and I see this, I don't think people are conscious of how much they value the status of being in a relationship. And so I think that a lot of people, when they are separating, it's the combination of status and finance. And nobody likes to talk about that, but that's what it actually boils down to.
Yeah.
But what about the fact that, though, and so I love that. I love what you said, Rachel. I have to go back over and listen to that in point, because I think that was quite yeah. But what about the fact that oh, was that funny? But what
I was
about the
honestly
fact
trying to
that
think of what I said, just by the way. That's what I was saying funny. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
was
what did
like,
I
where
say?
how
has
you
Amanda
explained
been
it,
in the
Yeah,
and
I
last
was
the
like,
5
oh,
minutes?
that's right.
and the
3
different
types of change.
of the different types,
Yeah.
the 3 types of change. I think that was really
I have
quite
really tried to
valuable.
find any other types of change, by the way, and I really haven't. And I looked for years to try and find something to present to my business mentor. And I'm like, here's something that you haven't considered.
But
No,
no.
it didn't happen.
But what about the fact of, because we're all looking at it in a particular way as well, but what about the fact that sometimes we just grow out of things? We have dreams for a certain thing, and
Yeah,
that
definitely.
happens, and then we want, then we grow out, and because we're growing and we're expanding, and we want more, and we want something different, and it's okay. That's what's supposed to happen. Otherwise, you stay exactly where you are. You know, I think there's 101 way of doing things, or of making one thing, or you make a decision about this, or you say, okay, well, I wanted to get married, and I wanted to have children and stuff like that, but now that relationship is no longer serving me. So what do? What, you stay because at 12 years old you decided, well, I wanted to get married and I wanted to have babies and kids? No, you move away from what's no longer serving you, or what's stunting your growth, because things have changed. And that's like how sometimes they say in relationships that we grew up and we grew apart. And there could be lots of other reasons, and this might not even be about a relationship. It could be about a job. It could be about something that you thought you wanted to do, or you thought you wanted to be, and it's okay to change your mind. People make us so wrong and so bad for changing our minds.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with changing your mind. There is movement.
Really?
There's always movement in life. No,
I got to say
You'll
that, well, put it this way. Honestly, what I believe is that pretty much nobody has any trouble with someone changing their mind if they acknowledge that they're changing their mind. So I just
no,
think
but
some
people
people,
have
they
problems with
skip
their
outside.
self. People have problems with their self about
Oh,
changing their
okay,
mind,
Yeah,
not other
because they get
people.
set
Yeah,
on
no,
it.
because they get set on
sorry.
it, and then
I
they
get that.
think
I
other
think
people's
it's
expectation of them. This is what I said I was going to do. Look, I have look. I know somebody who always growing up, she always said that this was the university that she was going to go to, and this was what she was going to do at uni. And as she grew older, she realized that there was something else completely different to uni that she wanted to do. And for that moment, it meant that she was going to have to take some time out of uni to follow that. And then but she couldn't do it. She couldn't do what she wanted to do because she told everybody, her parents, everybody, for all those years growing up, I'm going to this uni and this is what I'm going to study. And everybody was trying to hold her to that. Everybody was trying to hold her to
Again,
that. And so she had to deal with having the courage to say, well,
I've
not
changed
doing
my
that.
mind.
I've
Mm.
changed
I
my
know, but
mind.
I challenge
Go on.
people to actually tell the whole story. Like, I honestly think if she had acknowledged all of that to her friends and family, and I'm talking about making her feel fine with it, not her friends and family. But if she had actually said, you know how I have always said that I wanted to do this and go here, and this is what my absolute life path was. Can you imagine my surprise and shock and how destabilized I am now that I've realized that that's not what I want to do? And I know that you may think that I am completely unstable, but I guarantee you this is like an
Couldn't.
epiphany to me.
Listen,
And
17. She was 17 years old, and she did not know how to say that, because for her parents, going to uni was the
The thing.
pinnacle,
that's the
was
goal.
was
Yeah.
the goal. That's the thing for her to do. And because she's so bright, she was incredibly smart. Well, what else was you going to do? You're going to uni. Do you know what I mean? And she didn't know how, because she felt like she was letting them down. But what would have happened was that she probably would have gone on to do her A levels and failed in some way and couldn't have gone on to do what she wanted to do. And I know that because I was that person that did that. And so I knew that it was very possible that that was what she would do if she didn't follow this other route that she wanted to discover. And she went and she did that and she did really well. She was able to really pay her way through uni, and she went to uni and studied something completely different. But you have parents whereby, you're dealing with a lot of stuff on your shoulders about what they want you to do. So that opportunity to change or to change your mind isn't available. I know grown women, grown people, whereby changing their minds, they feel very much, people will think I am flaky, and you're not flaky.
Yeah.
If you decide that, you know what, I'm going to work, and then you decide, well, you know what, I don't want to do that job. I don't like that job. And then, you're off that job for months, and then you realize, well, Christ almighty, I'm going to have to make some money. I'm going to have to do something. And I go back to work, and people, it's such trauma in their heads because they think about, in a way, they're thinking about everybody else and how does that look to everybody. It doesn't look like anything to me as a friend. Doesn't look like anything. Change your mind how many times you want to do whatever serves you in that moment and what feels right. It is what it is. People grow and change.
You have to be really strong because, Rachel, I wanna
Yes.
respond to what the challenge that you threw out there. You have to be really strong because, full disclosure, when I told my family that I asked for a divorce, this was the response I got. Well, does he beat you? No.
Yeah.
No. Is he a gambler?
Yeah.
Alcoholic? Drug addict? No. Well, then whatever it is, you can stay and figure it out. And I'm like, no, I don't think you realize what it took me to get to this point. My ex-husband is not a bad person. We're no longer a good fit.
Yeah.
But because it wasn't some severe situation that occurred, everybody in my life thought you can work it out. You got a kid, you can work it out. It took everything in me to go, no, I need to stand up for me and my child, because in the long run, I knew it was the best thing for all three of us. But it was the hardest thing, coming up against brick walls who thought you're making a mistake. You don't know what you're doing. Go back, work it out. And I'm like, no, you guys, I'm done. Like, I'm done.
No.
Yeah.
But don't you think in any situation like that, like any significant announcement, whether you're announcing you're getting married, divorce, you're terminally ill, you're emigrating overseas, any of those big things, what you get back from people is, in that instant, they're imagining themselves in your situation. And then what comes out of their mouth is their response to that. So all of those people in your family would obviously like to think that if they weren't getting thrashed by someone that was embezzling all of their money, they would stay with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's all it says. And again, so Vagrin, just by the way, if you guys want to look into that session at any stage, again, what it's showing you is what your values are. Do you know what I mean? That you deserve something better than someone that just doesn't beat you and gamble, that kind of thing. And if that's where they're at, then great. But again, be grateful for them because they're showing you like what your boundaries are and actually how strong your self-esteem is.
I know, but I don't want to go through that. I don't want to go through that to get to that result. I need you to support me to know that when I'm making such a huge life decision, I've thought it through. I didn't wake up today and go, you know what? I think I'd like to blow up my life. That seems like a good idea. No, I get it. And so, culture and so like everybody's societal pressure and the culture pressure is so intense that is why most people stay.
I agree.
It's crazy.
It's the structures of society and how other people's expectations of us. And not only is it what Rachel said, which I agree with, because I always say, like I've got a number of food intolerances. It can be challenging to, have me over for dinner, whatever it is. But people's uncomfortability, it's theirs. It's not mine. I'm totally fine. And like I said to Rachel when I came to visit her, I just need some hummus and some crackers and a few carrot sticks and I'm good. But
and rosé.
Yeah, and rosé.
Of course.
I don't have any sensitivities to rosé. No. So is there, but it is often they're putting themselves in your position and they would hate to think of what your life would be like, whereas I'm completely fine with it. But, that's a very easy example, and I'm older and it doesn't bother me whatsoever. But I can imagine as being a younger person in a more vulnerable situation where you really do get swayed by those people around you, especially if they're not as conscious and they're very emotionally invested in whatever is going on, and just even with the university example, I started and I quit university 4 times just because it was kind of expected because I did really well in school. Well, that's what my perception was, that I have to go to university because why else would I have gotten this mark? Like, that's what I've got to do. But I got there and did really well and all of the things, but quit because it was exhausting me and draining me and wasn't, So I have had that experience, especially too, because I'm a manifesting generator. We do change things all the time and we can appear to be flaky, but actually you're meant to follow your joy, whatever that is.
Correct.
And so hopefully this conversation is helping someone
Correct.
build up the courage to trust themselves and to follow their joy and to realize it may just be people around them who are uncomfortable because they bought into the structures we've been sold in this world.
Yeah. Preach.
Hey, can I just circle back to one thing, because it really did help me. I really was one of those people, and it was a very 70 thing, Yana, that I was almost a commitment phobe, because I felt like if I committed or said something, that was it, that was in stone, there was no options, that kind of thing. And it really was such an enormous relief for me to learn that all I actually needed to do if I changed my mind, as I said, is go back to whoever I had told that I was going to do something and just tell them that I'd changed my mind. And then I was still in integrity. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
saying that you're going to do something and then saying that you're not going to do something is not a problem. It's just
like
saying
you
that
fully
you're going to
owned
do
it.
something.
You're just like,
and then not doing something when you've said you're going to do it. Yeah, that's lack of integrity. But if you tell someone that you've changed your mind, then it is. And that was such a relief for me, that I could just go and just energetically but respectfully rub out what I had committed to, and it was all okay.
Can I just throw something in there that is like on the back of that is like, say, like coming from a cultural perspective. Try saying to sort of like, I would say African-based parents that you've changed your mind, or you've changed what you want to do, you've changed going to uni, or changed what you're going to study. Not a damn chance. Because
they're all very
what would be
sexy.
said to you, have you lost your mind?
Right.
If you lost your mind, that is an upward battle. It's an uphill battle, because it's
again,
just,
though, yeah.
Especially if they've decided what you're going to uni to do. You don't even have to tell them what you're going. They've decided that you're going to uni to be a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, or whatever, and then you best follow through with our plan. Tell me about how you're going to become a sweetie shop lady. What are you talking about?
I do think that it is cultural, because there's lots of, there's a huge spectrum on cultures that are very individualized, like American culture and Australian culture and UK culture. And then there are lots of cultures that are absolutely the opposite. And I'd say, like, broadly, like Chinese and Indian culture, where decisions are family based.
Right.
But at the same time, the responsibility is also family based, if you know what I mean, what my understanding is. So the reality is that I can't relate to this because I've come from a completely individualized background. But what I understand is people that come from these familiar backgrounds, if they do what the family says they're should do and it doesn't work out, it's not actually their fault. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a joint responsibility thing the whole way through. Is it like that?
What? No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. If our plan is for you to go to uni and this is what you're going to study, and you come out, you don't come out without that, it's not family's responsibility. That's your responsibility, because you have a family standard to uphold.
Yeah.
You had one job. Because parents are like, you had one job.
And then don't you also have to take care of the parents?
Sorry?
Don't in African culture, don't the children also take care of the parents?
Not necessarily. That's not why it's done. It's more about prestige and about what we
Yeah.
want you to have, so that what we can go and tell the family and tell the cousins and tell the relatives,
You
you
know who I'm
know,
thinking of, right?
and tell church.
You know who I'm thinking of as we're talking about this, Amanda, right?
Oh,
Wendy from Potomac Housewives. That mom
right.
is savage. She's like, you're going to be she doesn't care. Her daughter has 3 degrees, a doctorate degree. She's a professor at a university. And she's like, well, I want to stop and I want to do other things,
Do other things.
open business and whatever, successful things.
Yeah,
She's like, absolutely not. The mom's like,
absolutely
you
not.
will not. You are
Yeah,
not allowed to do that. She's a grown woman.
yeah.
And the mother
And a
collects a
mother of
paycheck
3
from her.
kids. She's a mother of 3 kids.
Right.
And even I found that quite wild. But then you could see from her mother, it was a case of the fact that, she was frightened. She wasn't even trying to say to her husband that, listen, I really want to leave this job. It's not what I want to do anymore. It was her mother.
And her
That
husband
she
was fully
frightened.
supportive. He's like,
I
yeah,
feel
babe.
very-
So this is a really complex subject, obviously, depending on the person's culture, the person's family, the person's level of consciousness, courage, all sorts of things. But at the end of the day, hopefully this question has helped you connect more with what brings you joy and gives you a little bit of courage to step in that
think that's what
direction, no matter what
matters.
other people think. Yep.
100%.
Follow
Okay.
the spark.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Next question. Why do I keep ending up in the same kind of relationship even when I try to choose differently? Give it to us,
the
Kylie.
same thing.
Because you're a dumbass. No, listen. I know. Listen. You have to have. I know. I'm sorry. I said it.
The 5 points on the star, ladies. It's fine. This is her pointy point. She's very pointy.
Yeah.
Please like and
I'm
subscribe.
very sad.
It's a bit
Very sad. Listen. I trust that the 4 of you will give very nice
Answers. Yep.
pleasant answers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give it to you my style. Okay, if you have some sort of self-awareness that you are repeating something, then you have the power to change it. All right, take it away, ladies.
I agree with you.
Do you know what?
Yeah, no, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm on it back now. Hang on, give me back the mic.
Absolutely right. Go on.
Okay. I understand it's fine to acknowledge that you are repetitively. I'm so frustrated. Repetitively trying to find, partners that have that same behavior. You get to look at yourself as to why you're attracting that behavior in the first place. Don't be a victim and be like, he cheats on me. Well, why are you thinking that you deserve this? Why are you inviting that into your life? Stop being a little bitch and just go and do it differently. There you go.
Okay, and in translation, there is an unhealed version or unhealed part that allows
do the
that.
work. Do
Yeah.
the work.
That is
But
exactly
sometimes
right.
it's through the experience.
Correct.
Don't do it, Yana.
No,
No,
hold
it's
on, hold on.
true. I'm
Hold
on
on,
his
Okay.
I wanna say this. Hold on.
Don't you
My
dare play
whole life,
devil's advocate here.
my whole life, I was like, if I ever get cheated on, I'm gonna leave him. I'm gonna destroy his life. Like, I'm done. He'll never see me again. And then guess what? In my 20s, I got cheated on and it broke me. And in that moment, as much as I wanted to leave, I could not leave. I just loved this person so much that it was this battle. And that's when I realized, oh shit, I can never say what I would have done in a situation because reality is different. You just don't know. But I personally had to go through that learning journey to now be like, oh, now today, if that were to happen to me, I've got enough self-worth and self-love to be like, wish you the best, but that's not going to work for me, whether it breaks my heart or not. But I had to go through that journey. So there was something in me that needed to heal, or I don't know.
Or Lorena Bobbitt in this situation, and that will heal you.
Well,
I'm scared of
typically-
jail. Scared of jail.
No, typically what really comes up for me with this is worthiness. And Yana just mentioned that it really is a worthiness journey. So if it's continuing to repeat, the neon sign with the arrow is pointing to some work around that.
And honestly, just from the everyone reflecting your values back to your position that I seem to be absolutely fixed in at the moment,
Mhm.
the questions that I'd like to ask myself if I notice myself in that process is what am I seeking from these relationships? And actually work out what that is and then start being that for myself. So
Mhm.
if it's sort of like I'm looking for loyalty, then make sure that I am 100% loyal to myself. And if it's like I'm looking for company, then make sure that I'm really good company for myself. And if it's
Yeah.
like if I'm looking for adventure, then it's like make sure I get out of the freaking house. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
That kind of stuff.
But people
And
can be addicted.
actively start like disrupting the pattern, that kind of thing.
But, there can be that sort of element. I know we spoke about drama before. I don't remember if it was this episode or the other one we recorded, but, people can, because their nervous system has adapted to a particular way in this lifetime based on, maybe their childhood or whatever it may be, their other relationships, they can have a tendency, their body almost to crave the chemicals that are created through different connections. So it can actually be a physiological response, which is almost like addictive, which is not necessarily good for you. Anyone who has had any addictions will know that sometimes you can't just stop. So, it's if you're noticing it, do something with it as slowly or as quickly as you'd like. Get support if you need it, talk to someone, but also give yourself a break, because sometimes it's a little bit more complicated than just making a decision and stopping. Sometimes it's actually a physiological chemical reaction, and there will definitely be things you can do, but just don't be hard on yourself about it.
Love
Can
it.
I just say
Okay.
also that people can find themselves in relationships? I don't know. I think maybe one of you kind of said this, thereby, a lot of stuff is coming in from people's childhoods. You've got to figure out the reasons. Sometimes you have to figure out the reasons behind it. And that is basically doing the work. Because sometimes when people have been in relationships where say by the mother or the father has been emotionally absent, that's the relationships that you continually find yourself in, because you're continually trying to get that person to love you, to love
Yeah.
you, to love you. And you keep changing yourself to love you, to love you, to love you. And that's because it's coming out of childhood trauma. And so, and that is always going to be informing your decisions, as well as people. We've always seen that thing, Bobby, whereby you have that friend who always loves the bad guys. Do you know what I mean? Always love the guys that've got that little bit of danger about them, and that little bit about, you know what I mean? They're always going to do them dirty. There's always something going on and stuff like that. And then, they might meet somebody who's really nice, and you think, well, that's really nice. And for them, well, that person's got no spark. I don't really,
There's no
very nice
attraction.
person, but there's no attraction.
Mhm.
There's no attraction. Do you know what I mean? So I guess that's what comes into why am I always picking the wrong person for me? I do think you have to understand what is underlying that. And it's not
Yeah.
because, well, I thought I picked right. He was nice. He was decent. He said all the nice things. Let me tell you something. Those flags would have been flagging. You chose to ignore them. It's as simple as that. It really is as simple as that. So, what is it you're trying to get?
Elizabeth,
And why are you not? Remember, we did a podcast on letting yourself down. Did we do that in
Yeah.
the collective, or not
We're
letting
talking about
yourself down? It was,
self-abandonment.
yeah, about
Mm.
abandonment. Do you know what I mean? Abandoning yourself, you know? And I think that's what it comes down to as well sometimes.
Agree.
Elizabeth Gilbert has this interesting activity that she asks you to describe in 5 what your childhood felt like. And for the sake of it, I've just remembered what mine were, just as an example. And mine were wondrous. They were nature and science based. It was routine and disciplined. It was competitive, and it was dangerous. And when I say dangerous, I mean tricky to navigate. Do you know that sort of walking on eggshells feeling? And her theory is that's exactly what smells like home cooking to me. So if I come across somebody who fills me with wonder and who's all into nature and science, but is also really routine and extremely disciplined and quite competitive, and also makes me feel a little bit like I have to be careful, I'm like, oh my God, I can't get enough of you. Who are you? You're delicious.
Mhm.
So, like in your own time, Like maybe when you're listening to the Vagarian session, you might also just write down 5 words that you think of with your childhood, and then think about, you know, how your partners match that, for instance. It's not necessarily negative things, you know.
Rachel, can I just say something on the back of what you've just said? That what came to mind when you said that and how you said it was that my dad loves potatoes. He loved potatoes. Well, he's not here anymore. As my husband loves potatoes. My dad could have potatoes any which way but loose. So he could roast it, he would boil it, he could do it mashed, he would fry it, he would grill it, every living thing. So that's basically what you've just said. So when that person turns up, even though the core of them is what they are, what you see is all the different ways that you could have them. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing for you, but you will take that because it smells of, and it's got all the different components.
Familiar
of-
energy.
Yeah, you'll grill it,
And I know how to
roast
play
boil
it,
everything.
and yeah.
It's still mush.
It's amazing.
Or not. That cracked me up.
All right, shall we continue?
Yeah.
Okay. I love whoever wrote this. I love this person. Why do I feel called to rest right when my to-do list explodes?
Is this your question, Yana?
You know,
I was going to say this.
I would not have thought to write it like that.
Mm.
But please, any insight on this is very appreciated.
I have none because I have never conquered that.
So I think that, and this may be informed by previous sessions with multiple channelers or whatever, that humans really do complicate things because they get attached to the way they think things should happen. And if you're tired, rest. If you've got the energy, work, you know, etc. And I'm sure Rachel has said something similar before. So, you know, I've been wanting to do something with my website for ages, but the energy hasn't been there. And then within 2 days, I rewrote every page on my website because the energy was there. So sometimes I think that we think too much and we complicate things and we attach to things. And if we really just tuned into our energy, like if you rested, maybe you only need a day and then you'll get your whole to-do list done the next day and then you've got a free week, you know?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Can I chime in? So if this is in the workplace, I'd recommend walking around with a clipboard or a post-it note and no one will bother you. So you don't have to do your to-do list.
Honestly, I thought that was
doing
going a different way.
Right? You look like you're actively
Wear a high
doing
vis vest
something.
as well.
Exactly. Any sort of
I thought
official
you were gonna say
like
something
manila
different.
folder. No. I'm giving
Kylie's saying
practical
pretend to
life
work right
advice.
now.
Okay?
Pretend to work. Okay. Yes.
Pretend to work to take the pressure off to do what Lauren said. But I'm just giving you options. Post-its, manila folder, high vis.
And if this is your personal life, Kylie?
No, I just nap. I tell everyone, I'm like,
Kylie naps.
I nap. I don't fight it. This is why I've worked hard to do the work, to be in a lifestyle where I'm allowed to nap. Sorry
Look,
if you're not there yet.
There are different situations, right? Sometimes you really do need to get something done and you might have to rally yourself. But I
Sure.
think on the whole, there are a lot of shoulds involved. And it's like, and often when you think about things in that way, they get so much bigger. And if you actually just rested, then maybe all that stuff would get done in 3 hours in the afternoon. But you're spending all of your energy in your head and then you
Right.
get tired.
And then
you
you
know?
start bribing yourself like, well, if I finish this, I'm going to get a huge Diet Coke. Right?
Regular
Or like,
Coke.
what was
Regular
that?
Coke. A regular Coke.
She does full
Oh,
fat.
you don't do
Yeah.
diet?
No, what are you
Oh.
crazy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I like
No,
diet
full
because
fat.
I'm much bigger. But yes, okay. Or incentivize yourself with something. See, follow me for more life hacks. I don't have any good advice. I'm just telling you to avoid it. Why
That's
do
what
you
I'm
need
saying.
to
None
do
of
it?
that
Just
would
avoid
work
it.
for me. None of that would work for me. I
Because you're
kind of,
highly
I don't
functioning.
know how. If I have to, and I don't know if that's come because of like what the menopause has done. So I only have to look at something and I'm exhausted. But I don't, if I have a to-do list of things to do, this is not a question I can help with, because I'm going to, reality TV is going to take over. It's more important to do. If I have to hoover, well, I can get that hoover out, and I think if I just pose it right there, then job done. I'm not that person that's going to, sorry, I should have just shut up and not even attempted to answer.
Yeah. At this point, I'll remind you,
I'm
in a
happy to
previous
learn.
episode, Amanda did say if there's chaos, then I have a plan. So she thrives in that space.
Look, I got to say, I don't have much to contribute either, because what I see is I've either got maladaptive coping strategies to push through stuff that I think that I need to push through, and I just push through at my personal cost in all the ways. And then, I don't know, as far as creative stuff goes, I think I sort of worked through this even at art school, when I realized I didn't want to have a creative profession because it's too much pressure for me to be continually creative. I just can't do that. I'm a combination of somebody that needs sort of basic sort of, I don't know, repetitive tasks, for want of better words, and then creativity comes out of that. But yeah, I don't have much to contribute. I don't think that I have got very far through that either.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I guess just me and you, girlfriend. Me and you, I assume girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Just you and I are in this. Okay. Next. Is it normal to feel awakened and confused at the same time?
Hell yes.
Absolutely.
Everything's hell yes.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yes, next question.
Yes.
It might be one and the same thing. Awakened is confused.
You know, I would absolutely agree. Because every time I think I have something figured out, I reach a point where I'm like, oh, I actually know nothing. I know nothing. And I'm starting back at square one. I mean, obviously with a different, more enriched perspective. But it's almost like this. You take 2 steps back, but then you realize you haven't taken,
I've got the other way. It's sort of like, I know that I have to keep going till I get to the paradox. Because when I get to the paradox, that's actually the end of it. And, paradoxes are confusing, for want of better words, as well. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. Yes. Same thing.
All right. Short and sweet. Okay. We talked about this recently. They must have not listened. How do I trust the timing of my life when everything feels delayed?
Lauren, take it away.
Oh, look. I mean, I get super frustrated too. So it's not like I've got all of this figured out. But I think that personally, I can't just tell you to believe. It's going through the experience and having things happen that sort of gives you the sense that that can happen. It's almost just the experience has to unfold in itself. I do believe anything that is truly for you will come to you. Rachel, I'm sure you've said something like that before. What you're seeking will seek you. That's what Rachel would
that's
say.
Rumi. Well, it's Rumi.
Yeah, okay,
Just by the way, that's
yeah,
a Rumi.
there you go. It's Rumi.
They
Rachel has
don't
been
need to
quoting
know that.
Rumi.
Just claim it as your own.
It's not
Sorry,
Taylor.
I will not.
It's
It's not
Rumi.
Taylor.
But sometimes too,
It's on my
that is
website.
why, I often set an intention or want something to happen, and I request the most benevolent outcome, and I do the actions that are called for in the moment, but I'm also acutely aware that the outcome may be something that I have no idea about, because my consciousness is not wide open enough to encompass every potential possibility that might be far beyond my expectations. Did that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying?
when I feel delayed, all that kind of thing, I really do think naturally that it's for benevolent reasons.
Yeah.
Do you mean like if I'm stuck in traffic or something's not, I'm thinking, oh well, this is a way that I'm not going to be in an accident that I would have been. Do you know what I mean? Like if
Do you always feel this way?
Look, I still definitely get frustrated. Like I get like I don't think you can I don't think I even want to bypass the feeling of frustration. That's the information. And so I feel frustrated and then depending on what mood I'm in, I will investigate that frustration or I'll go, fuck it, I feel like being frustrated, I'm going to fang it. Do you know what I mean? That is honestly what it
Yeah.
comes down to. It's
And
like, do I
sometimes
feel like being frustrated? And oddly, sometimes I do because
and some
I turn into Rumpelstiltskin and just thump around the house a bit.
but sometimes that's information to actually do an action, but other times you might just need to go do some yoga. That was me yesterday because I was in a really bad mood. And I needed to shift the energy physically. And so it's not always that you have to do something with it. I mean, it's recognizing it. It could be a myriad of things, but I think trust builds through time as you go through the experiences, rather than someone sitting there going, hey, it's all going to work out. You find the evidence, as Ahmed would say.
Yeah, and also remember that emotions literally only last biochemically for like 90 seconds.
Or a whole
It's-
day if you're like me.
Well, it is, but then you're feeding it. Do you know what I mean? Like you will be feeding your thoughts that will be driving that emotion over and over and over again. Because if you don't, it will dissipate from your body in 90 seconds. So if
If you
90
feel it.
seconds of if you have 90 seconds of information that's true response to stimuli, and then after that, if you're still feeling angry or frightened or scared or whatever, it's because of your thought patterns that have taken over from that point. But I think it's a maladaptive. As I said, remember that I actually just said 2 seconds ago, sometimes I like feeling frustrated or I must enjoy it or get something out of it because I know how to transmute all of those feelings instantly if I want to. And obviously sometimes I think, no, don't want to. And I probably am sort of like wondering, hoping that somebody is going to call me and maybe I can pick a fight with them. Who knows what I'm looking for, but
But also sometimes sometimes the frustration or the sadness or whatever is literally the creative juice, like something comes out of that. So, sometimes you need to go to those places to create something that's coming. You just had to get into that space for it to actually be able to manifest. Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
It's not
So my
comfortable.
question is twofold. What was the question again?
The question is, welcome to our
There's a reason.
The question is, how do I trust the timing of my life when everything feels delayed?
And that was why I asked the question. Who says it's delayed?
It's just the feels, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's just life not lining up with what you want at that time. But as I said, I think of it for benevolent reasons. I think of it for my protection. I don't think, and as Lauren says, you can think of it as, a fertile ground for creativity.
That's a great way of putting it. Thanks, Rach.
Are you adding anything, Amanda?
I don't know what you can possibly put a definitive time on.
Well,
That
listen,
makes
use
sense.
for example, right?
Yeah.
For example, women who are like, oh, I'm 30, 35, 40, never married, no have kids, like my clock is running out. Like, that pressure is intense for people who are in that age range. And so they will absolutely feel like, why is everyone around me married with kids and having that life? And I don't have it. Right? That's a real life example. Or how come, I haven't gotten the right salary, the right job, the right opportunities, but everyone else seems to be living life beautifully. You can apply it in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And I can absolutely feel and understand why they would feel that way.
But
But
isn't
then
that
again,
then based on everybody else's timing,
Yeah, on
not
comparison.
your
That's
own
what I
time? That's
mean.
comparison. That's not
It's never going to be
your
have a good outcome.
your timing. Look, I came out of a core group of friends. That my core group of friends when I was growing up were all Asian, and so they all married literally right out of uni. They literally that was how it was. You know, you went to school, you went to uni, you came out, you got married, you had your kids, you worked, you did whatever. I got married at 44 years old. I had my first child at 26, but I got married at 44. If I was to go off what they were like, then my life would be severely and sorely lacking. I'd never be fulfilled, all of those different types of things. And I did it all wrong. And I'd also did it back to front. So whose timing are we really talking about? Are we talking about society's timing? We're talking about the pressures of what everybody else wants or what we see that everybody else has or is doing. Everybody, yeah, not everybody, but of those of you that want to be in a relationship that isn't in a relationship, it's not down to timing. It's not down to timing. It's time to you. It's down to where you're at. It's down to all different components, but it's not about it being delayed. It really isn't. So just another food of thought. Yeah.
and if you're anything like me, just allow the moment of frustration to pass. Because when I want something, when I think I should have something and I don't.
But also, you know, it's interesting because when I don't know, when you guys were talking, it's like just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen like literally tomorrow morning, right? So you might be stuck in the energy of this never happens, this never happens, this never happens, it hasn't happened yet. But it might be like literally available to you tomorrow, but then maybe you're not in the mindset to actually see it.
See it. Receive.
So yeah, I know it's a tricky one because you can get stuck in that. Hasn't happened for me yet. Hasn't happened for me yet. Maybe, you know, I don't know. We've got to stay open to the magic and wonder and hope.
Love it. And if anybody has any questions or if you have anything you want to add to the answers we've given today, just plug them in below in the comments and let's start a discussion. Ladies.
Yes. I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
Are you trying to remember our sign off again? Was that you? It's a reading, a healing, a light body session? What happened there?
No, but I'll give $1 to anybody who knows it.
I don't. That's as much as I know.
If you'd like to book a reading, a healing, a guided meditation, a Lightbody activation, or simply want to say hello, head on over to yoursoulwisdomshow.com. Thank you for allowing us to create this beautiful space, and we hope you have a beautiful and blessed day.
Oh my God, you just got replaced.
That was
good. I'll take that $1 now.
And
See,
with that said, have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.